The Balenciaga backlash is viral, people destroying their items, and it's been all over social media. There's one video showing people cutting up their sweatshirts here. This one got 11 million views. The brand, once a symbol of luxury, now marred, of course, by accusations of child exploitation. And the London flagship store was hit by a street artist, scrawling the word pedophilia right here for everyone to see. Balenciaga, it is the not-so-hot brand on most people's holiday lists this year, so how some celebrities hired by the brand are still not cutting ties is curious. Now, in the past, fashion designers may have pushed boundaries under the guise of artistic expression. Not now, not when it comes to our kids. Let's start with those kids and these ads. Children holding teddy bears dressed in bondage outfits. We've blurred their faces for you. Now, Balenciaga quick to pull the ads and apologized last week, saying, quote, "Our plush bear bags should not have been featured with children in this campaign." But it wasn't just the bears. Another ad with a handbag displaying a Supreme Court ruling on child porn. And this image, a book of an artist whose work has images of injured toddlers, is featured there. You see it circled in red. How did this happen? The company's second apology stated that there were items not approved on the set and a legal action was coming, and in fact it has been filed. Balenciaga filing a $25 million lawsuit against the production company and the set designer, but many are skeptical today that the top Balenciaga executives did not sign off on all of this. In fact, insiders speaking out to the New York Post today saying the House creative director Demna Gvasalia is driving all the imagery behind the campaigns, adding that to blame a production company is, quote, nuts. Others say what's really crazy is the refusal of celebrities like Nicole Kidman here, whose Instagram post for her spring campaign remains up today, still silent. But of course, the role of celebrity has helped this brand. Here is the 41-year-old Demna seen with Kim Kardashian at the Met Gala, walking the red carpet there. It is a long way from the house that was founded back in 1919 by a Spanish designer, Cristobal Balenciaga. Now, how and if they survive this PR nightmare remains to be seen, of course, but perhaps not a jury, but consumers who buy their high-priced items will decide Balenciaga's fate. And so far, it does not look good. Let's bring our panel into the discussion now to talk a little bit more about this. Former California Assemblyman Mike Gatto joins us, and also the Washington editor for The Spectator, Amber Athey. Great to have you both in with us today.
Thanks for having us.
This whole Balenciaga thing is just bonkers, and obviously it's people are still talking about it. Mike, the comparisons, I mean, for people who are overgeneralizing, a lot of folks say that the Democrats are behind this movement or they're part of, supportive of this in some way. We don't necessarily agree with that, but there are situations that are concerning, like George Gascon in California. He is releasing convicted pedophiles early. California, in fact, just released thousands of convicted pedophiles after spending only a few months in prison, and Gascon let them loose. They were allegedly convicted for a, quote, range of horrific acts, including raping a kid under 14. So, George Gascon is a Democrat. He's supported by George Soros. Do Democrats need to distance themselves from this type of stuff?
Yes, I believe we do. I believe everybody out there needs to stand up when you have something like this happening with Balenciaga. It's really awful to see that imagery. And I also have parted ways with my own party and those who continue to support George Gascon here in Los Angeles County. It was really troubling for me to learn that there are a lot of child rapes that he declines to prosecute as felonies. And so those get kicked down to the Los Angeles City Attorney, who has to prosecute them as misdemeanors and has to try to get consecutive one-year sentences for people who do very, very, very awful things.
Yeah, we should note, too, there was a recall vote that he survived. So voters maybe didn't have all the facts, and now they do. We'll see what happens. But talking about what's happening with the conversation, it is so disturbing when you talk about pedophilia and what it is. And there seems to be a normalization by some. There was a professor, and it's not the first story we heard, but in Virginia, this one made headlines because a transgender professor was arguing to students that, no, it's not immoral for adults to be sexually attracted to kids. They want to use this term. They want to push this term, these sickos, minor attracted persons. The professor is a 34-year-old Alan Walker. They resigned. But we worry about indoctrination of our schools, and furthermore, we have to worry about the messaging of these sick people now trying to be normalized, it seems, Amber. And that's why we think perhaps it's seeping into mainstream culture like a holiday campaign for a luxury brand.
I think that's exactly right. I mean, look at the backlash to the Parental Rights and Education Bill in Florida, which stated simply that children between the grades of kindergarten and third grade shouldn't be taught about sexual content. There were massive activist walkouts and pushbacks on that bill by left-wing organizations. So this is really shameful. And this Balenciaga campaign is part of a larger trend in the fashion industry where they routinely sexualize children and use them as props to sell clothing. And I, for one, am thrilled that people are finally saying that enough is enough.
Some, but as we mentioned, Nicole Kidman, Dua Lipa, Kim Kardashian spoke out, did not sever ties. So some wonder, is it enough?
Yeah, and Kim Kardashian especially, she's got a TV show, she's got a whole empire. I don't understand why, what is so hard for her to part ways with Balenciaga. I mean, again, I don't know anything about the world of fashion, Bianca. Maybe you can fill me in on this.
You're pretty GQ, John.
Well, it doesn't mean I know anything about what goes on inside these houses of fashion, but, what is the issue? Because, Mike, you know that if Balenciaga had done anything to offend the LGBT community, the entire world of celebrities would be canceling this brand. But it doesn't happen when a situation like this arises. You have people talking about taking a step back, a little distance, reevaluating, but no clear cut and distancing themselves from the brand.
That's an interesting point there because, I guess we're talking about now, what are the rules for cancel culture? It deserves to be canceled here. I would submit that they deserve a very, very stinging rebuke from everybody involved, that stars should part their ways, just like stars should part their ways when somebody says something intolerant or says something racist. These are values that I think, I agree with you. I mean, it should be crystal clear. Yeah. There should be no ambiguity here. It should be done.
The other thing, too, is I think what we've done a pretty good job, or tried to do a good job, Amber, is delineating the difference between, consenting adults, do what you want to do in the privacy of your home, but when you get the kids involved, we're not casting our aspersions on the entire LGBTQ plus community, with the groomer and the accusations of this, but when you start getting the kids involved, what other conclusion are we supposed to come to, Amber?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And when you look at the details of this campaign, it's very clear that even if the children had not been involved in this, there are very sick people working at Balenciaga. The fact that they thought it was appropriate to use a children's toy as a vessel for BDSM kink toys in the first place is disturbing. And then when they had the children holding it, it got even worse. And the apology, I don't think anyone buys that top officials at Balenciaga were not involved in approving this campaign. That's simply not how marketing at this level works, and anyone with some common sense knows that. And so they still have to answer for exactly who was responsible for putting this out on their social media platforms and on their website. And until that happens, people need to keep pressing them for answers. And absolutely, these celebrities need to cut ties because this will continue unless they face consequences for this.
Mike Gatto, Amber Athey, great to see you both. We'll see you guys in a little bit as well for more conversation. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.